Hi, I'm Brian King, and this is Marriage Monday. Still here in Vegas at my wife's seminar. And today's Marriage Monday, I want to talk about probably one of the most important topics I've talked about so far. We are in our Love Habits series, and today's habit that I want to talk about is build each other up through admiration. Now, pause for a second. That may not sound like a super exciting title, but the opposite of adoration is contempt. And Dr. John Gottman has identified contempt as the number one factor and predictor of divorce. If he saw contempt in either of the couples or either person in the couple, then it was like he could predict that would lead to divorce over a period of time. It may take years, but it was still a leading indicator, not just a leading indicator, the leading indicator. Well, what is contempt? It's the rolling of the eyes, the sneering, the body language that just basically is conveying to the other person that I'm better than you are. It's the outward name calling. It can be, like I said, the body language, the attitude. Think about it. If you know that somebody has contempt for you, you know what it looks like. It's just the way they act towards you and the name calling and such. The opposite of contempt is adoration. Now, for me, when I first started dating my wife, that definitely explains how I felt towards her. I adored her. I didn't think anything bad of her. I only saw her good traits, and she was beautiful, she was talented, she was funny, she was fun, and just everything about her I adored. There was no contempt. I was excited to be with her. I wanted to be with her, so much so that I asked her to marry me and spend the rest of her life with me. So then what happens? Well, you live with them for a few years and you find out that they, like you, have flaws. And if you focus on those flaws, as opposed to focusing on the things that you adored about her, then that can lead to contempt. And that basically is a predictor of divorce. Well, we're in Marriage Monday. We don't want divorce. We want to build a strong, happy, healthy marriage. So how do we get back to adoring somebody who you have contempt for? You can recognize it. Do they roll their eyes at you? Do you roll your eyes at them? When you fight, do you call them names? Do you degrade them? Do you think in your heart that you're better than them? Or do they give you the attitude that they think they're a lot better than you? That is all basically what contempt is. And like I said, it's basically, it conveys disgust in the other person and superiority. And you don't want that in your marriage. Because, like I said, Dr. John Gottman studied all these couples over long periods of times, and that was the number one indicator of divorce. So what do we do? Well, one of the things that John Gottman noticed was that he could see glimmers of hope when he got couples talking about their love story, how they met, what they liked about each other, how they got married and started a family and all of that. And when he got them talking about that, he could see the light coming on again and kind of the contempt going away. And the problem of contempt is it's like a attitude that just lives there. It never goes away. Like you get angry sometimes, but the anger goes away and you start over. But contempt just kind of festers. So if you're at that point, you need to get rid of it. So here's a few tips that could help you get rid of it. One, reminisce. Go back, remember your love story. Tell it to somebody else. Tell them how you met her and how your love story proceeded, and you did all these things together, and then you decided to get married, and then you had kids. Photo albums. I'm from the age that still use the actual photo album in a book. I know that's not as common anymore. You may have your wedding album, but more likely you've got the video. And lots of online pictures is what we're dealing with now. If you want to reminisce, go back and look at those pictures. I know one of the things that gets me all the time is when I go back and in time and looking at the kids' pictures. I'll look at my kids when they're adults, and then I'll just start scrolling back, and then, oh wow, they graduated. They're go back. Oh, there's their baby picture. And it's just like all the good times start coming back. And I remember all the things that we went through to raise the kids. And it's just like, oh yeah, that's because, those kids are here because I adored their mother. And, we have all those good memories, and we can go back and reminisce and bring it up again and talk about our love story and remind each other of the things that we did when we were younger, the things that we loved about each other, the things that attracted us in the first place. When you have time to do that, it's a great thing to do. And again, why are we doing this? Well, because since contempt is the number one predictor of divorce, if you see it at all in your marriage, you need to treat it like cancer, like something you've got to get rid of. You've got to work to get rid of it. If you have those feelings that, I married the wrong person, I'm so much better, I could have done so much better, whatever, however it comes out, or you feel like she feels that way about you, you need to sit down and talk. Because, well, like I said, this is Marriage Monday. This is the nuts and bolts of marriage. This is something you need to get rid of if it's starting to be part of your marriage. If you see it at all in either of you, if you fight and there's name calling, if there's sarcasm, that's one of the things I had to get rid of, the sarcasm. I still use it at work, but I totally try to eliminate it, not perfectly, but I totally try to eliminate that from my marriage. And contempt is a habit, but it's also something that doesn't go away by itself. It will grow. If you have that attitude that, I'm better, or I'm disgusted with the way she is, or she feels disgusted with the way you do things and the way you show up, start fresh. Pull out a clean sheet and start working from the beginning. Sit down and reminisce. Remind her of the things you loved about her and tell her, I adored you and I still adore you. We're in this together. Don't let contempt get in, and then give them the opportunity to say, to call you out on it, and ask them for that permission so that you can call them out on it, and then just bring it down a level if you see it coming up. Because once you recognize it, you can get rid of it. Most of the time you don't get rid of it because you don't recognize it as an issue. But now that you know it's an issue, get rid of it. And then you can have the marriage you've always wanted, the marriage you deserve, and the marriage your wife thought she was going to have when you married her. Because she felt the adoration you had for her and thought it was going to go on and on forever. And it should. And it can. As long as you don't let contempt get in the way. That's it for today's Marriage Monday. Hope you're getting something out of these. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you for Winning Wednesday, 5 Things Friday, and then another Marriage Monday next week. Talk to you later. Bye.